Hello and welcome to Yoga for Eyes and Faces. Let's begin by gently closing our eyes, feeling any difference that we can notice as our eyes soften behind our eyelids, as we let go of the screen. We can allow ourselves to sit a little taller, resting palms facing down or facing up on our knees. Then inhale, we'll lift the crown of the head a little taller, lengthening through the neck. And we'll exhale, melting our shoulders down away from our ears. We'll begin here by looking up with our eyes while keeping our eyelids closed. So just pulsing, looking up. And now we'll look down, again, keeping our eyelids closed. So just continually sending our gaze from center and down. And rest. We'll look from center to the right now. And rest. And we'll look from center to the left. And rest. We'll pause here and observe any difference. Maybe even blink the eyes. Notice how it feels to have our eyes open again. And then we'll close our eyes and we'll take long looks from up all the way to down. Eyelids closed, but moving the eyeballs up and down. We'll rest. And then we'll take some long looks from right over to left. And rest. Without squeezing our eyelids tight like this, we want to, in a relaxed way, open and close our eyes repeatedly. And I would recommend doing that looking away from your screen so that you aren't looking at something super bright with your eyes as you blink. But together we'll blink our eyes opened and closed. And rest. We'll do one more round of that. Opening and closing our eyes very softly. We're not squishing our eyes closed. We're not stretching super wide. We're just very gently open and close. And rest. Now we'll alternate opening and closing our eyes very big and then squishing them very tight. So we'll open wide and squish tight, moving at your own speed. And rest. We'll take some rotations for our eyes, again leaving our eyelids closed. We'll begin by looking up and center, Then we'll turn to look over to the left, moving counterclockwise. We'll look down. We'll look to the right and up again. And then we'll smoothly follow that rotation with our eyes closed, rotating counterclockwise, as though we're looking at a clock and following the hands of the clock as they move counterclockwise. And rest. And we'll shift over to clockwise. And rest. Use our pads of our fingers, this fleshy part, not the tip near the nail, but the fleshy pad of the finger. And we'll gently tap along the eyebrows, starting around the center, the bridge of the nose, perhaps using that very gentle middle finger. And we'll tap along the actual eyebrow and over, following that ridge. We can gently tap under the eye, not so close that we're hitting our eyelashes, just gently under the eye, making a complete circle, and then we'll go back in the opposite rotation. Back and forth, very lightly, very gently tapping around the edges of the eyes. And rest. Just gently brushing the eyebrows, the space around the eye. So you're wiping away any dust that accumulated as you're doing that tapping. I'm going to pause to notice the difference between our eyes now and when we began our practice. We'll begin to shift into changing the focus of our eyes. So we can take a thumbs up in front of us, and we're going to focus on looking at our thumbs. So we should see one thumb, not two thumbs. And now we'll look at something in the distance, something quite far away, maybe even out a window, and we want to see that with a sharp focus. And we'll notice that that creates a double thumbs up, but we don't see it super clearly. What we see clearly is the thing in the distance. And now we'll start to shift our gaze back and forth between our thumb and something in the distance. And we'll rest, pausing to notice the effects on our eyes. When we quilt and when we look at a computer screen, we tend to look very specifically at something close to us. And our eyes get tired of that deeply close focus. And it's very helpful to contrast it with a faraway focus. We'll shift now to holding our thumb, our full arm's distance away. And again, we'll shift between looking at our thumb in clear focus and looking at something very far away. And now we'll hold our thumb as close as we can, while still being able to see it in focus. So my thumb won't touch my nose because I can't clearly see my thumb. Just drawing it as far back as I can while I'm able to clearly see my thumb. And then shift focus to looking farther away, back and forth. And we'll rest. Can create some warmth, massaging our hands together, creating some heat in the palms. And then we'll rest the hollow of the palm over our eyes. So our eyeballs won't feel any pressure, but they will feel the heat of our palm, and they'll feel a much deeper darkness. We'll be able to sense that there's less light coming through our eyelids. We'll gently run our fingers up and down our face. And we'll move to cover our ears with our palms. Again, feeling that protection, that warmth of the palms. We'll run our hands down our throats, one over the other. And we'll land with palm to palm at our hearts. We'll come a little closer as we continue with a face massage. We'll begin again with the pads of our fingers near the third eye center. This time we'll be on the forehead, gently drawing circles where we go up, outward, down, and back to the midline of our body. A gentle pressure across our forehead, moving towards the temples. When we get to the temples, we might focus on moving the skin more than we're moving our hand. So actually pressing into the skin and rubbing that, creating a massage. Go back towards the hairline a little bit. And then we'll come to the bridge of the nose and sweep gently across and under the eyes. Very lightly, careful that we're not pulling our skin. We'll find the apples of the cheeks. Again, create a small rotation there. And come a little further so we're in front of the ear. We'll make our way to the upper lip, small circles. We'll work our way down along the sides of our mouth. We'll make our way towards the chin. And then circles that come back along the jaw. We'll make our way to the tonsils, the space that can get swollen if we're sick. We'll tilt our chin a little and gently massage little circles into that space. And then little circles down the neck. And rest. As we continue to massage our face, We'll scrunch our face into a raisin and then relax, alternating between the two. We might want to sync with our breath, either inhaling as we scrunch or inhaling as we relax, depending on what feels right to you. I'll take a few breaths while keeping my face tightly scrunched. And rest. I'm going to send my eyes to look up into the back of my head, looking as far up as I can with my eyelids open. And rest. I'll open my eyes and look as far to the right as I can. And rest. I'll open my eyes and look as far to the left as I can. And rest. With my eyes open, I'll look down as low as I can, maybe trying to see my cheeks or the tip of my nose. And rest, eyes gently closed. Again, we'll lightly and repeatedly blink our eyes. And rest. I'd say the most exciting moment of our practice is coming, and this is the practice of Simha Mudra. It is a full body mudra, but it has a significant portion that's done with the face, and that's what we're going to focus on here. So Simha sounds a lot like Simba, and it's a good way of remembering the name of that mudra because it's for the lion. And we're going to look up with our eyes. We're going to stick out our tongue. And as we exhale, we want to try to get a mighty ha sound in our exhale. This is an incredible pose for confidence, for our inner fire. There's a lot of fire element in our eyes themselves. So by improving our inner fire, we're improving our eyes as well. I'm going to take 3 breaths with this mudra. Hope you follow along with all 3. So together we'll prepare. And I'm pausing just to notice the effects, that inner strength of the mudra. We'll move into another massage for our faces. And this massage is more focused on tapping rather than on rotations, which we did the first time around. So here, we're going to begin by doing some gentle tapping with the pads of our fingers. We'll begin on the crown of our head. We'll work to the side corners of the head, the back crown of the head. We'll come down low along the hairline. We'll tap down along the back of the spine. We'll make our way now to the forehead itself, gently tapping from center outward. Maybe one more time, returning to the center, tapping outward. We'll lightly tap along the bridge of the nose, using any fingers that can press gently. We'll tap along the sides of the nose. Very lightly tap along the cheeks, under the eyes, making our way from center outward. Making sure we tap up to the temples again, tap in front of the ears. We'll return again to center and tap the upper lip and the chin. And we'll make our way tapping again towards the ears, along the sides of our jaw. Letting our jaw be as relaxed as possible. We'll tap the back corners of the jaw, tap in front of the ears. We'll tap behind the ears. There's kind of a nice bone that sticks out right behind the ear. We'll tap there. Tap our way down the sides of our face, our neck. And tilt up and tap extra into that throat, the tonsils. Careful to avoid our esophagus. We'll tap the front corners of our throat, the top of the shoulders. And we'll gently close our eyes, pausing to feel the effects, both in our face and the wonderful tingle that might be growing in our fingertips. We'll close here with a meditation for our eyes. This meditation is called Theoretic, which means intense focus. We're going to create an intense, unbroken gaze with our eyes. You might choose to look into my eyes. You might also choose to look away from your screen. A place that I like to look is out my window. I like to find the spaces between the branches of a tree or between the leaves, if there are leaves, and finding one tiny fixed point of negative space to look at. You can also find a dot on the wall, and you can also use the flame of a tea light candle. That's probably the most traditional of ways to meditate with Theoretic. If you look it up online, you'll probably first see people meditating at the flame of a candle. It is wonderful for, again, increasing the fire element in your eyes, as well as wonderful for toning and strengthening the muscles in your eyes. There's an actual strengthening that happens. Ideally, we're not going to blink. We're going to have a truly unbroken gaze. The first time you do this, you might blink extra because of that, and that's fine. You'll be able to slowly build up and practice. We are also going to hold a special mudra in our hands that is also for increasing the fire element, which is very beneficial for our eyes. To hold the mudra, we're going to overlap our hands so that our right index finger is on top of the left index finger. We'll gently clasp, and then our right hand is going to wrap around to connect, creating a circle around our left thumb. We'll pull that left thumb up and back so that it looks like the flame of a candle. And this hand gesture is called Linga mudra. It's wonderful for relieving any congestion, melting that congestion, as well as for increasing the fire element, which is wonderful for our eyes, also great for the metabolism. And we'll hold this either at our heart center or at the navel, or maybe even resting your hands in your lap. As we hold the mudra, we'll begin by looking out and finding our fixed point for our gaze. And then we'll close our eyes, softening our eyes, and we'll picture that fixed point in our mind's eye, feeling ourselves connecting to that fixed point. Then we'll very softly and gently open our eyes just a little bit so that you might see a fuzzy version of the thing that you're looking at. As that enters our focus, we can slowly begin to open our eyes all the way, aligning with our intention of a fixed, unbroken gaze. If your eyes begin to water, that's actually wonderful. That's a sign that things are going well. If you blink, no big deal. Just realign to not blinking. Remember to breathe. You can observe the sensation of Linga mudra in your hands, perhaps feeling your pulse in your thumb. Noticing the tonifying, the activity in the eyes. Theoretic can be done for just a minute or two, all the way up to 45 minutes or an hour. And so you're welcome to continue that practice of Theoretic longer than this. If you're in a darker room, your vision might start to feel a little bit black and white. So my eyes are tearing up, and that's just fine. Means I'm not blinking. Whenever you're ready to finish this practice, you can gently close your eyes very softly. You can release the mudra by rubbing the hands together. And slowly again, rubbing palm to palm to create some warmth. We'll rest the hollows of our palms over our eyes again. This time we'll blink our eyes into that darkened space of the palm a few times, perhaps just lightly feeling our eyelashes brush against our palms. And then we'll run our hands up and down our face, massaging the hands. We'll cover our ears, We'll run our hands one over the other down our throat. We'll land with palm to palm at our hearts. And in yoga, each of the chakras is associated with a sound. The sound for the third eye, the space between the brows, is Om. And so today we'll seal our practice with 3 chants of Om, chanting Om at a different volume for each of those 3 chants. The full-throated Om is to impact the whole planet. The gentle, soft Om is to impact our close circle. And the silent Om that's chanted in the cave of the heart, that third Om, is to impact the self. So together we'll chant. We'll inhale. Om Shantihi, peace, peace to all beings. Namaste. Lots of wishes for good eye health for all of you as you continue quilting and watching.